It looks like Seth Rollins is going to be involved in War Games, but what could the Visionary have up his sleeve at Survivor Series and beyond going into WrestleMania 41? I don't think things are as cut and dry as they seem, and knowing Triple H's booking these days, he likes to take some twists and turns when it comes to the Bloodline story arc. It's a saga, remember? It's gonna go in 50 directions. I feel like they are doing something with Seth like they just did with Sami Zayn. We got a little tease with Sami Zayn. Will he join the OG Bloodline or will he go with solo? They teased it for a week. Sami Zayn is aligned with his old family. Now, when it comes to Seth Rollins, it's a little bit more interesting, especially for the direction of his character for the remainder of the year. And when we look at Survivor Series and when we look at Monday Night Raw that just happened, Seth Rollins was confronted by Sami Zayn backstage, asking if Seth would be the fifth man, brother. Seth heard out Sami, what he had to say about it, and then he basically shut it down. Later on that night on Raw, we did see Solo Sikoa confront Seth Rollins out in the parking lot. Funny little back and forth there. I did enjoy it very much, and it did look like Solo was trying to recruit Seth Rollins to side with him because of all the history he has with Roman Reigns and how he hates him. And for Seth, as much as he does not like Roman Reigns at all, he does not like Solo one bit. He's not his tribal chief, ladies and gentlemen. So it really does feel like we are lining up Seth Rollins to be the fifth man at Survivor Series. But that's Survivor Series, and there are a lot of twists and turns that can happen during that match and the post-match, because I think what breaks down at the end of Survivor Series is going to set the table, so to speak, for the rest of the year and into 2025 with The Rock, with the main events of WrestleMania. I really feel like it's going to set the tone for things. Before I talk more about Seth Rollins though, I do like what Survivor Series on the men's side could deliver for us in terms of story arcs and multiple people getting different stories coming out of it. Because you have the dynamic of the relationship between Sami, Jimmy, Jay, and how that's all going to play out. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Solo. Can the original Bloodline get on the same page because they couldn't at Crown Jewel? Will The Rock be involved? And now, with all intents and purposes, Seth Rollins being involved in the match, where does he fall into place with everything? Can Seth Rollins help the original Bloodline take them all down for kind of the greater good? Or is Seth going to have a little bit of a problem? Okay, so I do want to time out here for a second. There are spoiler warnings right now coming up. I'm going to be giving you a spoiler for reports that were online from Wrestle Talk about what's going to happen next week on Raw that will confirm a few things for War Games, specifically in the men's match. So if you don't want to know about that, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not a huge surprise. Raw is being pre-taped, so you can pause, you can fast forward for a bit. So this is your final warning, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're gonna get Seth Rollins as the fifth man for War Games confirmed, and based on the reports and everything online, we are going to get Bronson Reed as the fifth man for the Bloodline. That is according to Wrestle Talk and what was filmed for Monday Night Raw. So this is going to continue Seth and Bronson Reed inside War Games. Now, I really like Seth and Bronson Reed's feud, but I don't feel like it's going to be the be-all end-all for Seth Rollins. I really like what they've done with Bronson Reed, but my question mark and question to all of you is, what do you think they're going to do after War Games with Seth? Are they going to have him continue on with Bronson Reed? You're probably going to get a giant moment in War Games, and I could honestly see them doing a thing where Seth is going to curb stomp Bronson Reed like from the top of the cell or something like that to really just destroy him in that moment. But what I'm really curious about is after War Games. Seth being in the War Games match really does set up a lot of different stuff because you have the confrontation and you have the history of Roman and Seth having to be on the same team once again. You're probably going to get that somewhat Shield reunion moment where you're going to get like a double power bomb or Sami's going to join them and do a triple power bomb. But I really think that in War Games, this is where we're going to see a change for Seth Rollins coming out of it. Seth's character, since his most recent return as a babyface going up against Bronson Reed, has been a lot of fun. And he's been a babyface for quite some time now. Before WrestleMania, all the moments during WrestleMania 40, and he's taken time off. I think Seth Rollins is going to surprise all of us with a massive heel turn to set things up for his character for WrestleMania 41. And I think Survivor Series is going to be the catalyst for him for his big change in character. Once he gets through Bronson Reed, there's got to be a breakdown in there. I kind of feel like on one hand, the heels are going to win Survivor Series thanks to maybe The Rock, because Bronson Reed could get taken out during War Games. And The Rock could just come in towards the very end and make himself the new 5th member of War Games match and then take down everybody else. But I do feel like if there's going to be a crumbling of the good guys during War Games, because the whole story arc right now has been about them trying to get on the same page and they can't. So you got a lot of broken pieces in there. And if you keep things broken, it's going to leave things very interesting going forward. So for Seth, you can have him get very frustrated as a character that he went out there and he tried one more time to help everybody else out and it failed. And he had to side with Roman Reigns during a match and do that thing that he never wanted to do, and he didn't want to be teaming up with Roman ever again. And Seth could get super frustrated by this and leaves him feeling disgruntled, bitter, and all of that, and now wants to do things for himself, thus changing his character and going heel. The other thing though is with Seth going heel, look at what WWE does now with their heels. They do not do these quick heel turns. They're progressions of their character. They evolve. Kevin Owens is a great example. Kevin Owens did not just flip on a dime and become a heel the next week and fight Cody Rhodes. They teased it. They did it over several months now, and they did it organically. I think Seth Rollins is going to have more of an organic, frustrating heel turn coming out of Survivor Series. And Seth can then go off and start planning things out for his WrestleMania match. During War Games, Seth could get frustrated by having to work with Roman Reigns, losing the match. After everything he did for Cody Rhodes in WrestleMania 40 in the main event, both nights, going through the tag team match, losing to The Rock on night 1, then getting involved in main event of night 2 and sacrificing himself a ton for the greater good. All of those things are big layers in the story that they can use to tell with Seth's heel turn. But I think what ends up happening, and the really fun part of all of this, is what you get with Seth being a heel. You can have the contrast with the return of CM Punk. Now, I don't know how you're going to get there with Punk returning. A lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Gunther and Punk at War Games. Really feels like that would be way too soon, and there's no build at this point. Could they pull it off? Sure. I just don't see it right now. You could do that for Saturday night's main event or a match at the Royal Rumble, but somehow, some way, I think that we are going to inevitably get to that match of Seth versus Punk at WrestleMania 41, which was the original plan for WrestleMania 40. But now, instead of having both guys as baby faces and Seth feeling frustrated as a face, now he has all this ammunition, the story built up with the bloodline, and now he can kind of take it out on Punk. Similar to that of Drew McIntyre. Drew feeling very frustrated and broken down and just angry at Punk and all the things that has happened to Drew of losing the title and dealing with Punk for like a year, getting in his way. Seth can just feel like he's bitter and disgruntled, and somehow, some way, these two are going to cross. And I think that is going to be the WrestleMania match. But does it need the title? There's the question for you guys. Comment below. Does Seth and Punk, if that's the match, does that need the world title? I kind of feel like it should. And it'd be very cool to see if Seth can somehow get that world title off of Gunther, win it by cheating, for example, because Gunther is the ring general and he ain't going down clean. Although we do see that Gunther can get like rolled up just because he did a chokehold like on Cody. So it's possible. But Gunther could lose that world title. That could be Saturday night's main event to shock people on a giant show. Debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix could be a great time for it to shock the crowd. But if you give a heel Seth Rollins with the world title, you line things up for CM Punk to maybe win the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber and get that match. But with so many elements involved inside War Games, I think it's truly going to set things off for Seth Rollins as a character. Have WWE pull from his past of all the story arc with the Shield, everything that happened to him, everything at WrestleMania 40. Honestly, part of me, even though like Punk and Seth seems like the main match to do, out of War Games, really would be cool if they were able to give us a heel Seth Rollins fighting a babyface Roman Reigns once again. And you never know, they could end up doing that by Saturday night's main event. But I do think that that's going to be the Roman solo match one-on-one. Does Seth Rollins turn heel? Does he get the world title and does he fight Punk? Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to talk more WWE topics, click this video right here and have a great day. See ya.